Conscendo Sodalitas. The paradox of awakening. The loss of motivation. The final challenge. Greetings, beloved fratres and sorores of Conscendo. Carl Jung, visionary of the human psyche, once affirmed, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." What is rarely mentioned is that there exists an inevitable portal, a veil to be crossed between initial awareness and full realization as pure consciousness. Many, after tirelessly seeking the truth and glimpsing the universal reality, perceive that everything around them loses its original luster. They plunge into a profound silence, where even the noblest purposes within the dream of existence dissolve. They come to understand that the motivations that once moved them were, in essence, illusory constructions. Awakening advances silently and relentlessly, stripping away the ground beneath one's feet, along with dreams, goals, achievements, and masks. The seeker finds themselves before a lucidity so vast it may be mistaken for despondency or loss of meaning. It is not depression, but a state of clarity so raw and overwhelming that it prevents the continuation of the old pretenses. Instead of answers, there arise silences. Instead of directions, a suspension. It is like spending a lifetime climbing a mountain only to discover, at the summit, that there is nothing to attain, only an ancestral silence and a cosmic echo whispering, "None of this was real." Jung intuited something akin to what here we call the paradox of awakening. This emptiness is the passage through an expanse of the inner vastness, not an error or spiritual collapse, but a necessary stage of true awakening. The essential crucible in which something infinitely more authentic begins to be gestated, initiating a profound reconfiguration of perception. At such a crucial moment, it is futile to cling to old precepts and objectives, which no longer resonate with the new frequency, just as it is equally impossible to stop, lie down, and give up. Such attempts are as vain as trying to return the butterfly to its cocoon. Instead, one must traverse with courage this forest without maps, discovering that motivations were never truly personal. Awakening does not annihilate motivation. It merely unveils its illusory nature. What remains is only what is real. The mirages of the ego, childhood aspirations, built careers, social ambitions that were never truly one's own, reveal themselves and dissipate like smoke. We stop not out of laziness, but because, for the first time, we know that continuing along those illusory paths leads nowhere. This is the very heart of the paradox. The awakening that promised liberation first paralyzes us. It is often said that upon awakening everything will make sense. A profound misconception, for when one awakens, all that once made sense dissolves. Consciousness, contrary to expectation, does not arrive with answers. It arrives with silences, with demolitions, with the muffled sound of all concepts crumbling within. And, surprisingly, this process does not necessarily come accompanied by sadness, but by a strange serenity, a quiet "so be it" that seems far wiser than the euphoria once called passion. Many ask, am I going mad, or at last finding myself? What seems like depression is, in truth, a metaphysical alchemical rite, in which the old forms dissolve so that the new may emerge. Genuine awakening is radical, for it spares not even the most sublime ideals. It incinerates everything, and in the vast field that remains, the seed of the new begins to pulse. nothingness reveals itself not as absence, but as fertile space. Allow yourself to plunge into this nothingness of your infinite within, for in the heart of this emptiness, something sacred is being gestated. There is a silence that, though calm, is deafening. A kind of emptiness that does not destroy, but creates. It is the crossing of this inner vastness, the most solitary and sacred phase, for here there is no longer structure, identity, or map. No more concepts. And, paradoxically, it is precisely in this desert that the new begins to form. In the heart of this silence, a new vitality arises, the will to live, renewed, not as a pursuit, but as the spontaneous expression of consciousness. A perception of life as never before experienced. Existence reveals itself as a work of art to be completed, refined with care until, at last, it may be displayed with quiet pride in the gallery of its infinite experiences. It is then perceived that the dream of forms, though illusory, is a masterful piece of the one consciousness, a creation to be lived with mastery, made as beautiful as possible. A work to be appreciated by yourself alone and by no one else. The gaze adjusts like that of a painter who, before their masterpiece, delights in its nuances of genius. It is consciousness itself delighting in itself. This is the dawn of return, the rebirth. Aligned with the one consciousness, a new and uncontainable motivation arises, unburdened by witnesses or applause. Free of dogmas, concepts, and labels, we simply are, expressing our infinite self in its naturalness. We no longer seek a purpose. We are the purpose, walking about, doing what needs to be done with gentleness and courage. We become serene, magnetic, profound, and free as never before. Not because we stand above life, but because we are truly within it for the first time. And this is not the end, but the beginning of a boundless comprehension. The universe reveals itself then not as a problem to be solved, but as a cosmic and infinite work of art, of which we are not spectators, but the very consciousness that creates, contemplates, lives, and celebrates it in eternal and joyous return to itself. In the eternity of the I Am, sincere wishes for awakening. Conscendo Sodalitas.